Kelvin, on your way home from work today, would you make sure to pick up some cleaning detergent and bread? Both those things look like they're running out.
Will do.
Also, the last time you bought some detergent, it was the wrong stuff. The stuff we use in this house is in the white jug, not the pink jug, okay? The smell is what's different, so don't be making the same mistake as last time.
Sorry about that. I'll make sure to get the white jug this time. I promise to be careful.
You really don't know anything about this house, Kelvin.
But in the past, you had used the pink stuff too, right?
That was in the past. But then Paige started saying that she liked the white detergent more, right? That's why we started to buy it instead of the pink. We even had that conversation right in front of you, but I guess you weren't listening at all.
You always keep the conversations to yourself, though.
Well, that time we were talking right in front of you, so listen, please.
I'm sorry.
How about you start to think about your daughter and I more often, Kelvin? This is why Paige doesn't like you all that much.
What? She really doesn't like me?
No, she does not. She's even told me not to have her laundry mixed in with yours when I put them in the washer and dryer. She doesn't want to get whatever germs and smells you have.
I've been trying my best not to cause any trouble for her.
Even if you've been trying, you smell bad and haven't done anything about it.
Now that you bring it up, I've been told before by her not to get within 3 feet of her.
I'm sure she would say something like that. You are her father, yet she can't even respect you as such.
Well, I've been trying to do my best, with whatever I can do, to make sure I'm not disturbing anyone. And back when she was in elementary and middle school, I made sure to go to all her events to support her. I even made sure to never say anything rude to her. Back then, she would always listen to me too. When I'd ask her to come home right after school finished, she'd do so. But ever since she got into high school, she stopped listening to me and doesn't seem to want anything to do with me.
And that's because there is nothing she respects about you anymore. You barely make a decent paycheck and you don't even look that good anymore. To her, all you are is some strange old man. I think she has every right to start hating you, Kelvin. Don't you?
A strange old man? I'm sure, considering my age, I am an old man to her.
Even I let out a sigh every once in a while when comparing you to other husbands in the area. You've started to lose a lot of your hair, and you always look a little dirty.
I can't help the fact that I'm balding now.
Anyhow, just know that I agree with her for hating you. I guess the only thing you can really try to do now is not annoy the both of us too much, and then I won't have to talk to you like this again. And the only other thing we ask of you is to keep making money, because that's all you really can do anymore.
Don't you feel a little bit rude saying something like that about me?
I'm just being honest is all. Besides making money, do you think you have anything else special about yourself?
Molly? I'm sorry.
About what?
I really want you to take a deep breath and listen to what I have to say.
Seriously? What is all of this about? You're starting to scare me a little.
The company that I've been working for, well, they just went bankrupt. And that now means that everyone who was working there is being laid off.
Huh? Then what are you going to do?
Well, that's the first thing I'll do is file for unemployment.
You're telling me you're just going to be unemployed now?
That's what's happening. But for a few months, I'll be getting paid unemployment, as well as a small amount from the company.
What the heck, Kelvin? There's no way this is happening right now.
It'll be all right, Molly. I'm going to get right back out there and start looking for a new job again, so you and Paige don't have to worry about a thing.
Well, of course you're getting back out there. Jesus, I can't believe any of this.
But I've made sure that things like Paige's college fund and all that have been left untouched, so we don't have to worry about that. Just for a little while, we'll be relying on unemployment and that small package from the company.
You're saying that like everything will actually be all right. Do you have any idea how bad this timing is?
I'm sorry, Molly.
I really messed up marrying a man like you. The only thing worthwhile about you was the fact that you had a stable job that you made almost decent money from, and now that's gone. With this, there's no point to you anymore, is there?
You really shouldn't be saying something like that.
Hey, if you're going to be unemployed for a while now, then you're going to start taking care of everything in this house. Up until now, I've done a very good job of being the housewife. But I was only doing all of that because you had a job and were actually working. However, now that you don't have a job, I'm not going to bother with all these chores and crap.
Understood.
What's even worse now is that you'll be around the house a whole lot more. This is going to drive me insane. You better make sure to find that new job as fast as possible, Kelvin. Once you finish with all your chores for the day, you use the rest of your time looking for that job.
All right.
You're only going to be making Paige hate you more now. This time you might even have done it to yourself by killing off whatever love she had remaining for you.
Because I've lost my job?
What other reason would there be? You have no right of being in this house if you're not going to be working a job anymore. Perhaps I'll use all of this as a way of starting my hunt for a new husband.
Huh? What are you talking about right now?
Well, come on now, Kelvin. A husband that's useless to his wife and a father who is no longer loved by his daughter? I think I'm better off finding myself a much younger and more wealthy man to marry than you.
What makes you think you can say that to me right now?
Because I've been wanting to say that for some time now. You have nothing fun or enjoyable about you, nor have you ever made more than $60,000 a year. And now you've just told me you're unemployed? I'm really starting to wonder if you're taking my life and Paige's life seriously right now.
And like I've been saying, I never wanted to create any problems for you both. Or at least, that's not the plan.
Well, right now you're causing us all kinds of trouble. Also, unlike you, I have actually been taking really good care of myself. I bet if I put myself out there on any of those dating apps, all kinds of young men would come running to me asking to be my husband.
Would you just stop it with those kind of jokes? Molly, I feel really bad about getting laid off by that bankrupt company. But I promise that even now, I'll make things work in order to take care of you and Paige.
You really are so miserable. Getting laid off when you're middle-aged, how embarrassing. There is really no more worth to you anymore. I'll make sure to tell Paige all about what's happened here today. If she starts to say awful things to you about yourself, don't try and stop her because it's all the truth. Kelvin, I'm not going to need dinner tonight.
I see. Thanks for letting me know that. Does that mean that Paige won't need any dinner either?
I just told you that I don't need anything for dinner. And Paige would never stay at home to eat dinner alone with you. Why couldn't you connect those two dots together just then?
That's a good point.
And now, since you won't be making us anything for dinner, I'd like you to start getting things packed up for us when you get home.
Things packed up for you guys?
Actually, I'm referring to your things.
What? What are you talking about, Molly?
You really are so bad at reading the air. I'm telling you to get the hell out of the house. You and I are going to be getting a divorce.
Are you really being serious with me right now?
Very, very serious, Kelvin. And you have to understand after all that's happened this month, the divorce was coming, right? You lost your job and became unemployed. And you still haven't found a new job yet, even though it's been 30 days since then.
Since then, I've had a lot of paperwork to fill out and things to work on. Also, you were asking me to find jobs with certain salaries and benefits, but in this area, there were no jobs that fit what you wanted.
I'm not here to listen to your excuses. I want you out of the house. So go.
I understand that I shouldn't have the dignity of being your husband and a father. And that for the past month, you both haven't been able to rely on me that much. But this whole time I have thought of you both as the most important people in my life. I always have.
You can think of us however you'd like, but both Paige and myself don't want to live with a man like you in this house. Paige has even told me she doesn't want to be seen breathing the same air as you either.
That's a really heartbreaking thing to say about one's own father.
Just shut up already. Now you get your parasitic old ass out of the house. Go!
Parasitic?
That's what you're going to be described as now. Paige started calling you that, so I thought that I'd join her in using it. By having you continue to live with the both of us, our savings will continue to drain away. We don't need some useless old man in this house anymore, if all he's going to do is use up our money.
But all of that money happened to be the same money I brought into this house.
Excuse me? I was the one that helped save some of it up, so it's both our money. Also, as of right now, Paige is out looking for her own job. Having an unemployed man like you in this house will only spell bad luck for the both of us as we try and save money up. You are in both of our ways, so hurry up and get lost already. There is literally no merit to living with you anymore.
But after you and I get this divorce, what will you do? Will you go out and find a job yourself?
You have a lot of nerve being worried about me even after the divorce happens, Kelvin. But you really don't have to worry about me. I happen to have myself an amazing person now.
Huh? Have you been cheating on me?
I just said that I have an amazing person right now, didn't I? Him and I haven't done anything personal yet. But it'll only be a matter of time until we do start to get physical with one another.
I see. I understand everything now.
You never had the right to say yes or no to this divorce in the first place, so you should have understood all of this from the start. Also, the remainder of Paige's tuition and such will all be handled by me. That means I'll be taking all that money you had saved up for her.
All right. I'll leave you to handle all of that.
So this means you'll be out of the house by the end of the day, right? It's not like you have a lot of things to pack up to begin with, so you can make this very quick and simple. Now get going and leave the house. We can talk about things like the divorce and all that later on. Kelvin, long time no see.
Is this your number, Molly?
What? Did you go and delete all of my contact information from your phone or something?
I did. I was assuming I'd never need to talk to you again, and that the same went for you. Didn't you say something along those lines back when we had our divorce? And how you never wanted me talking to you or Paige ever again. That's why I went ahead and deleted both of your contact details from my phone.
I suppose I did say something like that. I went ahead and left your information in my phone, though.
Oh, is that right then? But it's not like you ever needed to do that, right? You are totally fine to go ahead and delete my information now as well, if you want.
Listen, Kelvin, ever since the divorce, I've had some time to relax and take a few days to think about things.
Think about what things? Anything that have to do with me?
Well, of course, things that have to do with you.
We are already divorced, though, and that chapter of our lives has ended. You shouldn't be thinking about anything that has to do with me anymore.
I'm sorry, Kelvin. You can come back to us after all, please. After having you out of the house for a few months, both myself and Paige have come to understand just how important you really were. Also, I heard this from one of my friends. You ended up finding yourself a new job in a very large company? Since you're working full-time again, Paige is even saying you're more than welcome to come back home. So, what do you think about living with us one more time?
What? I'm still unemployed, though, Molly.
Huh? So you're not working yet?
That's right. Back when I had you both, I felt obligated to work all the time in order to take care of you guys. But ever since I became single again, I don't really feel the need to stress myself anymore. I still have the money that was in my savings, and I'm still getting unemployment. So with that money, I've decided to take things slowly and think long and hard about what I really want to do next.
What? But I heard all about this from one of your old coworkers. They told me you're working overseas right now.
That is true actually. However, I wouldn't call this work or anything. Rather, I'd call it helping out. I left the States to go out and relax a little, and that's when I ran into another American, and we began to bond with one another. Right now I'm with her, and by helping her, she helps pay for me to stay here. A little while ago, I had done a video call with some of my old coworkers. They must have thought that I was actually working and making money here or something.
But the fact that you're still overseas is really cool. I never knew you wanted to get out of the US and explore things like that. Are you able to speak any other language besides English?
Back when I was working at that previous company, there were a few foreigners working with me as well. They taught me Spanish and French, and now I'm able to speak pretty conversationally in both.
Is that right? Hey, would it be all right if I joined you as well?
What? Why?
Because to me, you're very important.
The only thing that's important to you is money, right? A little while back, I got a few calls from Paige about it as well. She told me about how you used up some of those savings that were meant to pay off Paige's tuition.
What?
I heard about this from Paige as well, but she was saying that your other man had ended up running away from you, right? That really sucks, doesn't it?
You're wrong, Kelvin. All of that has nothing to do with this. I was already starting to realize that he wasn't cut out for me. And that was before he left me. I began to realize that you're far better at being my husband than he could ever be.
What are you talking about, Molly? You're making it seem like you're okay now after all that's happened. And how could I say that I am far off better at being your husband than him, when the whole time I was with you, you constantly belittled me and made me feel unwanted?
I never did anything like that.
Oh, please. Every day was that way with you. You were always letting me know that besides the fact that I was making money, there was nothing else about me worthwhile to you. And yet, even with you always saying things like that to me, I still stuck around. I had plenty of memories from back when you and Paige were kind to me and enjoyed my presence to keep me going.
I'm really sorry. I did a lot of terrible things to you. But right now I've really thought about all of that and changed. So please, come home to us. Or better yet, I can come out there and be with you.
And what would Paige do at that point?
She's in college now, right? Oh, she can manage all of that by herself now. She's even been out of the house since yesterday. I'm sure to her she doesn't really need me anymore.
I see. I'm happy to see that money I gave Paige is going to good use then.
What?
I made sure to send Paige whatever amount of money you took from her and that college fund.
Why did you do that? You're going to be that nice to a little bratty girl that said and did so many mean things to you?
There were a lot of days where the things she said and did shocked the hell out of me. But just because she had that attitude with me doesn't take away the fact that she's still my daughter. I'm sure that's pretty soft of me to say that after all I've been through. But I was a little bit worried that if I didn't help her out at least this last time, not only would she regret things, but so would I.
Then why don't you help me out as well? If things don't change for me, then I won't be able to manage anymore.
So within 2 months, you blew through all the money that you got in the divorce and dipped your fingers into your daughter's college fund. That's pretty freaking bad of you, Molly.
I was a real idiot back then. I took advantage of how nice you were to Paige and I, and that's why things are the way they are now.
It's too late now, though. You told me to leave because I was no more use to you, right? But then, when you're in trouble, you have the nerve to be asking for me to come back and help you? No way, that's not how things work. You should know that by now. And if you don't, then let me teach you right now.
I'm so very sorry, Kelvin. I'm asking you, please, Kelvin. From now on, I'll do anything you ask of me. I won't ever belittle you again or make fun of you. I will make sure every word that comes out of my mouth is something kind when talking to you.
I'm sorry. After becoming single, I've thought about things a lot myself. From now on, I want to take big strides into making a new life for myself.
And I'm telling you that you're very important to me, Kelvin.
But I know deep down, I'm just not that important to you.
What?
I mean, it was you who was always using all the money I made and put into the house, right? Yet you'd still tell me I wasn't making enough for you. And then you took any money I did want to use and put it towards yourself. You would use all the money to treat yourself to all kind of nice foods and branded clothing.
You knew about all of that?
But even with all that in mind, I always told myself that if that's what made our family work, then I couldn't complain. And at the time, I never really had any hobbies or anything to be spending all that money on anyways.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise to never spend all your money like that again. I'll make sure to help you save that money up, so please give me one more chance.
Back when the company went bankrupt, things were really difficult for me. But even with all the anxiety I was feeling, all the pain and everything in my gut, you told me I was worth nothing to the family. And you even went ahead and told me later you found yourself an amazing person. I'm not stupid enough to let a woman like you get one more chance with me, right?
That wasn't how I really felt back then. I was just trying to act tough was all. Please, Kelvin, please come back and help me. I can't do any of this on my own anymore. I've always been a housewife, and there's no way someone like myself can find and work a job now.
All of that done and said, and yet you still think I'd want you back? You really must need to be taught a good lesson in how things really work. It's not healthy for you to keep thinking you can sit there and beg others to do everything for you. That's why I don't think it's worth helping you anymore. And I've actually learned that you of all people weren't worth anything to me that whole time. After that, I continued to get call after call, text after text from my ex, so I went ahead and just blocked her number for good. We had already finished everything that had to do with our divorce and splitting of property, so there was really no reason for me to leave her unblocked in the first place. Later on, my ex was no longer able to pay the bills for the house, and soon all the water and electricity was cut off and she couldn't live there anymore. And as for the money she got from me in the divorce, it was all used on her boyfriend within the first 2 months. As of right now, I'm not really sure at all about how she's living or even where she's living, but I never ever want to hear from her or see her again. When it comes to myself, I ended up being hired by the company my American friend I met overseas was running. And even now, I'm living overseas, enjoying my new life outside the US. And when we would talk about my daughter, we recently begun talking to one another every so often again about our lives. Having only graduated from college just a few weeks ago, she is finally starting to understand how hard it is to find a job and work full time. This made her understand just how horrible she was being back when living with me by saying all those hurtful things about me, and since then she's felt very sorry for all of it. But even with her feeling sorry, that's not going to help my already scared heart fully heal. I asked that after my daughter had gotten settled in with her work and everything, to start paying me back all the money I sent her. I told her that if she really didn't have it in her to, she didn't have to send that money back, but she told me she would as another way of showing that she understands just how horrible of a daughter she was in the past. After she's paid me back every penny I gave her, I'm thinking of going back to the US for a little bit to see her and talk with her face to face. I really don't want to make my new life all about myself. Even though I had lost my family for a bit, I still want to keep my daughter around me. Up until now, we really haven't talked about anything deep, but when I get back and see her face to face, I think we should sit down and let everything we feel out. Then the both of us can be detoxed and only have to worry about making new lives we have the best they can be for ourselves.